Hey guys, it's Ariel. Today we're going to be going through my January TBR. So if you don't know what TBR is, it's basically the books you are aiming to read this month. I'm not really a big fan of TBRs, but I still do them. It's just kind of like a target read, but I usually am just a mood reader. So the first book I'm wanting to read this month is Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This book is about Naomi Witt, and she is a runaway bride. She ran away from her husband during their ceremony, and she goes away to this small town, and she also has this like evil twin sister that everybody's mistaking her for, which her name is Tina. Well, what Naomi doesn't know is Tina left behind her daughter, so Naomi has to figure out what to do with her niece, how to take care of her, all of that. And there's also this guy named Knox, and it says Knox Morgan doesn't tolerate drama, especially in the form of a standard runaway bride. So it says, now she's a guardian to an 11-year-old going on 30 with no car, no money, and no plan. It says there's no reason this bearded bad boy barber doesn't get involved with high-maintenance women, especially not type A romantic ones. But since I cannot say Naomi for the life of me. I don't know what it is. But it says, but since Naomi's life imploded right in front of him, the least Knox can do is help her out of her jam. And just as soon as she stops getting into new trouble, he can leave her alone and get back to his quiet, solitary life. At least that's the plan. So I started this book. I never finished it. I think I was on chapter 7, it looks like. But I'm super excited to start it. It's definitely a big one, so hopefully I will like it. I will let you guys know. And most of these books I did get for Christmas, and if I didn't get them for Christmas, I bought them off of either Barnes & Noble or Amazon with gift cards. So this is basically like a Christmas type haul thing. But the next book I'm wanting to read is from Look Off with Love from Mariana Zapata. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, so hopefully I'll like it. It says, if someone were to ask Jasmine Santos to describe the last few years of her life with a single word, it would definitely be a 4-letter one. After 17 years and countless broken bones and broken promises, she knows her window to compete in figure skating is coming to a close. But when the offer of a lifetime comes in from an arrogant idiot she's spent the last decade dreaming about pushing in the way of a moving bus, Jasmine might have to reconsider everything, including Ivan Lukov. So it's basically like an enemies to lovers stories involving ice skating, and I'm super excited to read about it. I've heard a lot about this book, but not as much as like the plot and how it ends and stuff like that. So I'm really just going in this with a blank slate, and I'm reading a lot of thick books this month, so hopefully I'll be able to get through it. The next book on my TBR for this month is The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Perkinen, I want to say. Now, I'm super excited about this one. I was watching this reading vlog, and somebody's reading this, and it just sounded so interesting. It says, when you read this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume you are reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. Twisted and deliciously chilling, The Wife Between Us deftly explores the hidden complexities of marriage and the dangerous truths we ignore in the name of love. Read between the lines. So that sounds just super interesting. I'm super excited for this. It's definitely a story I'm very interested in, and I want to get into more stories like this. It kind of reminds me of Gone Girl. I don't know if you guys have seen that before. I don't know if that's how the story will be, but by the synopsis, it sounds like it kind of is a lot like that, but we will see. Next book I want to read is Serenading Heartbreak by Ella Fields. I have never seen anybody talk about this book besides Steph Bohr, and that's where I got this recommendation from. But first of all, look at this cover. This has to be like the prettiest cover I've seen in a very long time. It's so pretty, and a lot of these books have that like soft feeling, and I just love that feeling. But it says, my first love was my brother's best friend, a lead singer in their band, a picture of rugged perfection, and a drunk soulmate who couldn't commit. My second love was an arrogant baseball player, a player in every sense of the word, a smooth-talking, reliable best friend, and a chance at something beautiful and true. The problem with having a first and second love, that would be loving them at the same time. My story isn't some sexy triangle, it's exquisite agony. Fate gave me 2 men to love, but none of us knew which one I could keep. I love a good love triangle. A lot of people don't like love triangles, which is probably why I haven't heard a lot about this, but I'm into it. Hopefully I stay into it. Can't wait to start this one. The next book is from Taylor Jenkins Reid, which she's one of my favorite authors. And the synopsis of this just sounds beautiful. It says, One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am super excited to start this. First of all, I wish I had the other cover. I cannot find the other cover. Kind of sucks. It has books on it and like a pair of glasses. I really wanted that cover, but I could not find it. I think I got this from Barnes & Noble. This is basically a story about this girl who falls in love with this guy, and it's their love story, obviously, and then he ends up passing away. So obviously a few years go by, she starts to move on from that love, and she meets this new guy, and they fall in love. Well, this whole time she thinks that her first love has passed away. She's trying to move on from it, find new people, and it turns out he was never gone. He never passed away. So that obviously puts a wrinkle in things. I'm super excited to see how that ends up, because that sounds so interesting. And I'm really excited to see how Taylor Jenkins Reid writes about it, because I know she's an excellent writer, and I just know it's going to be good. Now the next 4 books I have are actually all Colleen Hoover. I'm trying to get through all the Colleen Hoover books. Almost there, but I still got a couple to go, so I'm going to go ahead and read Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. Again, this cover, so pretty. I think this is one of the prettiest covers Colleen Hoover has ever had. But it says, Bea comes from a life of poverty and neglect, Samson from a family of wealth. When the two find themselves spending the summer as neighbors, they soon realize money is one of the few things they don't have in common. Their bond is too intense to ignore, but with only the summer separating them from the start of their new lives, on opposite ends of the country, Bea and Samson decide to stay in the shallow end of a summer fling. What they don't realize is that a rip current is coming, and it's about to drag both of their hearts out to sea. That sounds so good. Really, it just sounds like a really good summer romance. I haven't heard a lot about this book. I kind of want to read it in summer, but I also really want to read it as soon as I can, so hopefully I'll enjoy it and it doesn't make me miss summer too much. The next 3 books I have are actually a series by Colleen Hoover, and it is the Slammed series. So the first book is obviously Slammed. It says, Falling in love can feel like poetry, or it can feel like a slam to the heart. I have heard actually a lot about this book, and a lot of people... What? They bent the page. But a lot of people say they don't like this. I know this is one of her first series she's ever written. I think it was one of her first books, actually. So I'm excited to see if it's good or not, because a lot of people really don't like this series. So it was her debut novel. That's crazy. It says, Colleen Hoover's romantic, emotion-packed New York Times best-selling debut novel unforgettably captures all the magic and confusion of first love, as two people forge an unlikely bond before discovering that fate has other plans for them. Following the unexpected death of her father, 18-year-old Lakin becomes the rock of both her mother and her younger brother. She appears resilient and tenacious, but inside she's losing hope. Okay. Then she meets her new neighbor, Will, a handsome 21-year-old whose mere presence leaves her flustered, and whose passion for poetry thrills her. Not long after a heart-stopping first date during which each recognized something profound and familiar in the other. They are slammed to the core when a shocking discovery brings their new relationship to a sudden halt. Daily interactions become impossible, painful, as they struggle to find a balance between the feelings that pull them together and the forces that tear them apart. Only through the poetry they share are they able to speak the truth that is in their heart and imagine a future where love is cause for celebration, not regret. That sounds really good. I love the poetry aspect. I really hope there's a lot of poetry in this because your girl loves poetry. So my mom actually got me this series, and she went ahead and got me the second book to it, which is Point of Retreat. So I'm not really going to read the back of this because I don't want to know what happens, and obviously it's going to tell a little bit of what happened in the first book in the synopsis, so I'm just not going to do that. And then she ended up getting me This Girl by Colleen Hoover. I want to say that's a part of the Slam series. It doesn't say it's a third book or anything. It says, there are two sides to every love story. Now here's Will's. Colleen Hoover's New York Times bestselling Slam series has brought countless readers to their knees with a whirlwind of love, passion, and heartache. Lakin and Will's love has managed to withstand the toughest of circumstances and the young lovers. Oh, yeah. So, it's basically the Slam series, but in the guy's point of view, which is awesome. So it's like hopeless and losing hope, how losing hope was in his point of view. Super excited for that. I really love when they do that. So I'm really excited for the series. And that is all for my January TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for my January wrap-up. I've already read a book that's not on this TBR so far, and it's coming off to a sad start, guys. Just so y'all know. So get ready for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified.
I've never seemed to be good enough for him or her or